And we are live. I think we live. Oh, it's turning. It's still buffering to go live. There we go. So we are live. Give them a second to come in the building. I can pull us up. Let me see. All right, I see we live. See who in the building. All right, all right. Got one. Let me turn this down.
Let me see if I can share this to my group. Can I share this?
Put this on the screen, the big screen. Yeah, we about to get into it. All right, y'all. We all in the building. Yo, peace, Jumbo. Baragani, Islam, Salam, Ete Pu, Rahubat, Gino Lako Ni Nani, Chief Noble Bandele El Amin back in the building. And once again, for the second day in a row, we got Keng El Bey in the building. Yo, and today we're going to be discussing the ugly truth about child support. So, for all of you people, all you parents that is going through some things with child support, y'all need to take note of this, all right? All right. So, before we get into any of these things, I want you to check out any and all of my books on Amazon. And you can all get them on Kindle. These are all Kindle right here, but you can get them Kindle and paperback. Uh, Dealing with a variety of different subject matter. The book right now that just came out is The Birth Certificate Explained, which is a good book. Y'all need to check that out. But check out all of the books under Bandele El Amin. All right. And then with that being said, I know my man, tonight we're going to be discussing child support. And boom, one of the main books that we're going to be using, which you can find a lot of this information, it's going to be on how to stop child support. Okay. So the Must Child Support Manual. So go check that book out on Amazon.com by Mr. Keng El Bey or Keng El Bey. All right. So without further ado, we are going to get into the information. Like I said, today we talk about child support. And before, hey, look, just before before we get into child support, all right, I ain't trying to hear all this stupid stuff about child support. Okay, we're talking about the reason for people that are being abused on support. We're not talking about deadbeats. Okay, we're not talking about if you got a child, you should pay child support. We're not talking about none of that. All right, I don't want to hear none of that shit tonight. I'm just letting you know. If you come in here with that, I'm blocking. Dead air. We're talking about serious business with child support. We're not talking about ducking and dodging child support. We're not talking about deadbeat parents, deadbeat fathers, or none of that. Okay, that's not what we're here for. We're not here for that. We're here to discuss the fallacies, the good and bad. We're going with child support, and if you got a child support issue, then we're going to show you how to cope and fight with it. And this go for divorce. You know, people are getting divorced, and they got to cover themselves. And people get divorced, they get on child support. So, you know, it's bigger than what y'all think. So I want to hear that stuff, man, because I hear all that crap y'all do be talking before. All right. So with that being said, we are going to get into child support, man. Okay. Like we said, the ugly truth about child support. And there is an ugly truth to child support because child support has ruined people's lives. Okay. It can be good. It has helped people. Some people need child support, but that's cool. but there's been people who've been ruined by it as well, and it's been used and abused. So, we want to discuss, some of the issues with child support. And like I said, for anybody who's going through child support or going through these type of things in family court or in juvenile court, we want to talk about how to fight it. All right. So, with that being said, my brother, um, we are going to get into this. My first question to you tonight is going to be the fallacy, man. So, like, what are your issues? What are your issues with child support?
My issues with child support is that a lot of times they strictly rule in favor of the mother and take no consideration of the father at all. They don't look at a lot of stuff he's done, provided. Like if a father has been providing things for years, if he don't know how to document, they can take that everything he did for 8 years, and they can just say that was all a gift and grant her back pay. Um, they don't look at the parenting time sometimes or extended relationship with the child. They won't look at everything. Is all economic and money driven, and a lot of times women use it as a weapon to weaponize it when they don't get along with their child's father. And that's my biggest thing. The father is not considered. He have to go through other extreme measures or even fight for child custody to even out the playing field. And that's a whole nother ball game in itself. So, and I think a lot of us in our community, the problem is most of us is children having children, and there's grown adults that think like children, and they have children, and they don't know how to manage um, a co-parenting relationship. So those are the things that I look at when dealing with the child support system. And then another thing is how they go about establishing all the child support enforcement officer. All she does is put in an affidavit that you signed the birth certificate. She put in an affidavit, right? And most of y'all don't even know she put in the affidavit because they never allowed you to inspect the evidence. That's a violation of due process. How many guys that went to court and knew that the child support officer put in an affidavit and filed a petition on the behalf of the mother showing you never even seen the complaint, nor did you look and inspect the affidavit that she signed off as a child enforcement officer acknowledging that you signed the birth certificate. So that can be considered as violation of due process. And then number one, that can be looked at as fraud because how did she know you signed the document when she wasn't even present?
Well, I mean, doesn't she do that by looking at the birth certificate, or does she have to look at an affidavit
No,
of the
she
birth certificate?
she looked at the birth certificate or the affidavit. She'll look at the documents that conform the birth certificate, and would then she'll take and sign off that you acknowledge that you're the father. And what will happen is they will take and use that affidavit of acknowledgement to establish paternity and enforcement. And that's how the ball game starts. But child, you got to look at the construction language of child support as it relates to Title 4D. Title 4D comes under the Social Security Administration as it relates to use of that Social Security number. and a lot of brothers don't know, you don't have to work under the social security number. It's not necessary for you to even work under your social security number for even for the child support under child on the Title 4D to even be before enforced. If you're not working under the social, they can't enforce child support through that manner. They have to go through another manner of enforcing child support because it's not under
So you,
Title 4D.
so okay, so hold on. So you saying that they they primarily use the social security number to establish child support.
Yes, that
So if you, let's say they establish child support through your social, but now you're not working under your social, aren't you still liable for what the child support deemed that you have to pay?
right. Okay, but this is what I'm saying. This the social security, how do they make a determination or calculation of what you have to pay? They attach your social security number to your job, right? And
Right,
then they
right,
do a child support calculation.
right.
So let's say
But,
you
but
let's say you have a trust or something, and the trust owns the person's identity, and you get another identification number associated with that identity. Now all of those other factors got to be considered as it relates to the child support, right?
okay, okay. So won't they set a default? Like, okay, I can't establish you working, so we're just going to make you pay a standard amount. Like a small, like for people who don't have a job but got a child, they still make them pay something, right?
Well, this is what I try to get brothers who I tell brothers never go into child support without a job, right? So this is what I was doing for brothers who didn't have a job. I would have them go get them a vendor's license. And
Right.
when they get a vendor's license, I say, just go sell you some knickknacks and wham whams, and whatever you make for that month, let's say if you made $40, they would have to establish it at $40.
Okay, I got you. So
So that was one of the child support remedies that I try to show brothers on what to do. So a lot of brothers can work at a job under a different, and I'm just giving some a little bit of sauce, but not too much. You can work under a different entity and have your social security number tied to something else that you do, and they have to take the child, they have to calculate your income based upon that calculation.
I got you. I got you. Okay.
Does that
So
make sense?
so you're saying that they have to use something else. They'll have to use the vendor license. Whatever you made on the vendor license is what they'll have to use.
Whatever you attach the social security number to, right, for your income, they will have to use that.
Right. Because you're saying that they don't have to get a job or get a job under their social security number. You can get a job without using your social security number. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
yeah, you can get a job. It's not, it was never written in stone that you had to use the social to get a job.
Okay. All right. All right. You're gonna have to break that down at some point, you know what I'm saying? But what
So
in
let's
regards go ahead.
so a lot of people are they like visuals. So when we ask questions, I'm gonna give them some visuals as it relates to my state, as it relates to how to critically think. Because I try to tell people you have to be able to think about everything. This is about your fundamental rights, constitutional fundamental rights, as it relates to the Constitution. Do everything, do the state have the right to overstep boundaries as it relates to your fundamental rights, as it relates to your contract? So, two ways they establish child support. They're you either sign the birth certificate or through DNA, right? So they can't force you to sign the birth certificate, guys.
True. That's one thing. Never sign a birth certificate, bro.
And then they can't force you to give DNA. So you can go to a hearing, and what I try to tell people is you let your paperwork precede you. You let them know it's against your religious rights to give any of your blood or any of your DNA. They cannot force you to. You just have to give them good cause. So if you tell them that it's a religious rights that you practice, that you do not give that out, they can't even establish child support at all. That's that's how you kill child support altogether in the bud. If you don't want to get on child support, you don't sign the birth certificate, nor or you go in there and you confess your religious rights not to give any um, DNA or blood work.
That's okay. That's deep because that's true. They got That's an argument for sure.
They can't. It's a First Amendment violation. They can't force you to give up your body fluid. If that's the case, everybody will have to give up body fluid for whatever reason. They can't. You ain't did nothing criminal. It's not. They're not charging you with a crime.
So what is child support? It's civil, right?
It's civil in nature. All everything is civil in nature, but the difference is there's are criminal elements to
Aha.
civil
Right.
liabilities. There's criminal. Child support do not become have criminal elements into it till you start defaulting on your child support or you disobey a court order from the court. The court can't. How the court is going to establish personal jurisdiction over you? To the judge can't force you to give up your DNA if it's against violate your religious rights.
They can't. Okay, I hear you. So because what they normally do is subpoena you, right?
They'll subpoena you, but
Right.
and then you just go from there. You didn't sign the affidavit. The woman can blame you all day. She can say, that's your child, that's your child, that's your child. The court then would have to, I'm sorry, the court will then have to establish the only way they can establish child support is through a paternity establishment under Title 4D. You're gonna make the thing fall.
I
You know what
got you.
I'm saying?
So are you okay? Go ahead.
So you got to think about a lot of people were saying, "Hey, during COVID, my religious right is not to take the COVID shot."
Right, right. And we had with the temple, we got religious affidavits, and they work. We showed why you don't have to take a test. So I guess with the same thing you can do with the like you're saying with the DNA paternity test, because if they ask you any questions, you can always say that your church you took an oath not to talk about any of this. Like I can't even talk about none of this, and any of my medical history is under HIPAA law. So
Let's
I
go.
really don't have, right.
Go to Ohio Revised Code under secret benevolent societies, right? And we're gonna break this down.
Peace to y'all, everybody in the building. please like the video. Please smash that like button and subscribe. And if y'all want to donate, I just realized that you can donate. So if you guys are on the thing, you can go over by where the like is, and there's like those three little buttons. Click on that, and there should be like a place you can donate, like a little heart, and then you can donate, y'all. Like we definitely trying to establish some things. So please donate if you can. You know,
Okay. So check this. Let me share the screen, Chief, and we
I
gonna
got
go to some stuff. This is why I say, get the book, understand what you're doing. Call King El Bey. I I got remedy after remedy after remedy after remedy. So let's look at this, right? Corporations, this under Ohio law, right? Corporation partnerships, chapter 1715, religious benevolent organization, secret benevolent societies. A secret benevolent association or society incorporated in the state may accept and receive donations or voluntary contributions, collect its assessments, which shall not exceed 1/5 of 1% of the amount payable at death of a member, and pay endowments in the mode and to person's name, and provide its law, but no case shall such payments exceed in the aggregate $5,000 on the death of any one member. So, and a teacher, such association or society may sue or be sued in any court of law. So, how do you keep something a secret, Chief? May I
I
ask?
got you. How you keep it a secret? I mean, you pledge an oath.
Right. So, you take a vow of secrecy. So, you take your religious document into court as evidence and you break it down. Say, hey, I'm not allowed to talk about any of this. I can't give you my DNA. I'm under oath. I'm under a contract, and this is what it is. I can't give you my DNA, and I'm not even allowed to sign for anything as it relates to my religious rights.
Check,
You feel what I'm
check.
saying?
Yes, sir. So you guys, y'all hear that, man? Right? One of the things you got to use is religious. And like we talk about this too. Like if you go back to some of our other videos, right? And we talk about how to establish, your birth through even documenting the birth through your religious documents. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to, when you got it all under religious practices, that all has to be addressed in the courtroom. Okay, so y'all
It's
remember that.
it's and it's a lot of things that in particular, if those who searching for remedy come to King El Bay, I will give you the particulars. Now, when it's dressed enough, the particulars that's associated with the master class, I will be putting together a child support master class to get you guys remedies. And even if you own child support, I can still get you a remedy.
Check.
So let's continue as it relates to some of this. So child support is done through juvenile court, right? So this is the new administrator. This is done. This is child support. But I
And we
want to
talking
say,
about, and y'all, we talking about in Ohio. We talking about like down here in Hamilton County. So you
right,
know,
this
things are a
is
little different everywhere. So bear with us. We just we're
right.
using it on our state level.
Yeah, it's state to state it varies. So just showing you acknowledgement of paternity affidavit, and it tell you that the Department of Job and Family Services shall prepare an acknowledgement of paternity affidavit that includes in boldface type at the top of the affidavit the rights and responsibilities of and the due process safeguard afforded to a person who acknowledges that he is the natural father of a child, include that if alleged father acknowledge a parent and child relationships, he assumes the parental duty of support, right?
Got
Both both signatures, which both parents are the signatories, waive any right to bring any action pursuant to these things. So, what are the things they're talking about under these codes? Parent and child relationship. You waive the right to say it don't exist. So there's a legal relationship that exists between a child and the child's natural adoptive parents. So you waive that right. Understand what you're doing. You waive, that's the one right, waive you right. You cannot prepare a new birth record. You waive that right.
when do you waive your rights though? Break the,
When you sign the birth certificate.
okay, so signing the birth certificate,
You
okay,
waive
that's what we say, y'all. I'm for real, y'all. I know that a lot of people be like, that sound like it's bad or like disrespectful not to sign the birth certificate, but it's not. It has nothing to do with that because you can always establish your paternity other ways. But when you sign that birth certificate, this is what happens. This is why we saying don't sign it.
and then another, you cannot even go through, it says request administrative determination of paternity. You waive all of these rights. So now you are forced in this arena, this venue that the child support enforcement agency has strict scrutiny over what goes on with the child support. You gave them authority and jurisdiction over you and your child support matters. So I'm just showing you how you waive your rights. And then you also waive the right after rescinding your child support. You once you signed it, you only have not later than 60 days after the date of the signature on the acknowledgement. So you only once you sign it, you only got 60 days to rescind your signature.
Hey, message. Y'all hear that? You got 60. Once you sign it, you got 60 days to renege on that mother.
So
You hear?
that's it. So once you fall into this, once you set yourself up, if you don't know what you set yourself up for, you set yourself up to lose.
And now that take me into something else because what that sounds like what happens is once you sign off on that, that will also establish the court you're in. Am I right or wrong?
Yep, it established a lot of things. So
But
once
particularly, go ahead.
once you understand, see, it all originated from Title 4D. Let me see if I
Good.
can
Bust,
pull that up.
bust that.
Title 4D. Title 4D, Child Support and Establishment of Paternity. So a formula grants Title 4. So when you get you a Social Security card, you automatically should know you're coming under this.
You say as soon as you get one or as soon as the child get one?
Soon as an individual get one, I don't care if he's a child, long as he has that Social Security number until he gets old enough to relinquish it, this is what you establish yourself on: establishment of paternity, child support, and establishment of paternity.
Okay, but I'm trying to make understand this. Child support and establishment of paternity in relation to the Social Security. Are you referring to the Social Security being for the child or for the Social Security being the parents?
Okay, so this is what happens. Okay,
Okay, break it down.
when you get a social security number, right, as a child, right, all of these different jurisdictions for as Title 4D is triggered. If you get 18 and you have a child and you have that same social security number, you come under this establishment of paternity and child support through that action under the Social Security Administration Title 4 Act, Social Security Title 4D Act. So it says Title 4D as it relates to this right here. Family, I'm going to try to highlight this. Establish a state federal partnership. Do you hear that? It established a state and federal partnership to provide child support services. So the state and the federal they combine. They establish that the state adopt the child's Title 4D law, and now through that adoption, the feds and the state has a joint partnership to ensure that you pay child support. This is why
Mm,
the U.S. Marshals come and get you when you don't pay child support. They don't send the police;
mm.
they send the U.S. Marshals.
So that's you say like so the Title 4D is like that contract with the state and the federal government.
Right, because the state adopted the Social Security law under Title 4D.
That's deep, y'all. So check. So y'all got to look at Title 4D.
So you can even
And
go here. Administering federal agency, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Child and Family, ACF, Office of Child Support Enforcement. So this is all federal. So when you have, most of us have two birth certificates. Like in our state, you have the vital statistics, and then you got the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that you also have a birth certificate. So I got a birth certificate in all caps, and then I got one in regular standard.
facts.
So this is establishing or showing a relationship between the vital birth records that establish the child support enforcement through these instrumentalities.
Right. That's why if if both parents are woke, you know what I'm saying, or both of y'all conscious, against the system per se, or whatever you want to call it. Like if y'all, both of y'all, none of y'all should sign a birth certificate.
No,
Both, none of y'all should really, But a lot of times, I mean, and I hate to say it, but women, generally speaking, not really into these things, and they want to sign it anyway. You know, they don't realize what they're doing when they do that either. You know, so
so me and Chief been doing this for a long time, so we understand all of the different ramifications on why. But I want to give you some remedy. So here is deviation from schedule or worksheet, right? From calculation of child support obligation, health insurance coverage, right? So they tell you all the different things that you can do. So let's get into the court may order an amount of child support that deviates from the amount of child support that would otherwise result from the use of basic child support schedule, the application worksheet, after considering the factors and criteria set forth under section this. So we can go into this, right? Let's click on to one. Factors to be considered, right? So we could talk about special needs, right, of the child. We could talk about
Hold
other court orders and payments. Okay, go ahead. You
on.
want to
No, you had the first one. You said special needs.
the
Go back to that.
special and unusual needs of the child and children, including needs arising from physical or psychological conditions of the child or children. So that is something that can be considered to deviate the cost. That could be from to get more or even get less. So I want y'all to understand this. And we try to lower your child support. Other court orders, I want y'all to look at this. Extended parenting time or extraordinary costs associated with parenting time, including extraordinary travel expenses when exchanging the child or children from parenting time. So let's say if your child mothers live in California, you live in Ohio, and you have to pay for him to come back and forth. That should be calculated in your child support. Let's say if you pay medical and dental, life insurance, and all of that, that should be considered and should allow you to be reduce your child support expenses.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Let's say the child is like an hour away, couple hours. I mean, that's not bad. But let's just say for the what they use gas money. Like it's gas money.
That's all that can reduce your child support because that is an actual expense that is being used to obtain parenting time to get the child. So you have to do everything in the affidavit explaining out the details.
And that brings me to something else. One of the things you need to do is always try to keep record of your expenses and things that you do with that child.
You
You
should have
know,
a journal.
yeah, you should have a journal, which is y'all need to buy my journal. Go to Bandele El Amin and get a journal. Use that journal and write all your stuff down on what you're doing with that child, the expenses that you have with the
And
child.
keep all your receipts.
Yes,
Anything that
sir.
you have, keep a record of. And never give out money unless it has a detailed explanation for why it's being used. So if
Yes,
you give your
sir.
baby mama money, it should explain or it's going to be considered a gift.
Exactly. So for one thing I do, let's say you using like Cash App, right? When you in that memo, you need to put in there it's a non-gift that this is for child support only. You need to be specific in what you put in there in the notes or when you write a check. Whatever you put in that memo, you need to express what you're doing because when they accept it, they're accepting what's on that memo. So if they're accepting that check, they're accepting a cash check at the value of what that memo say. So that's very important for y'all to do.
And what you can also establish, you don't have to say for child support, you can say for the benefit of the
Here we
child
go.
or for the duty and care of the child, for clothes. You can be very specific for his clothing needs, for his food needs, and for additional expenses.
Check.
So you can also be when I try to get people to when you start dealing in business, you got to look at this child support as a business. So you have to be very, very, very specific. You have to scrutinize this, right? To everything, right? So I want you to look at this also under D. The financial resources and earning ability of child or children. So let's say if your child go get a job, that can reduce your child support.
Mm, I got you.
It
So
says,
usually like that's like yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
says the relative financial resources, including disparity in income between parties and household, other assets, and the needs of each parent. So I remember back in the days I was dealing with a brother, a sister, a brother, and his girl, his ex girlfriend or she had a boyfriend. So we subpoenaed his income in. And what we explained was that now she has a income, additional income, and that he is should be considered as a roommate, and that she is getting rents from a roommate that should be considered as income that she is receiving monthly.
That's heavy. That's
So
heavy.
so she wasn't ready for that. She ended up dropping the case of trying to increase the child support because we subpoenaed his records in, and that she had to count him in as that being rentals, or like that's being
Right.
additional income, as that being a rental property, as a form of him being a roommate, an extension of income.
Right. Right.
So
That,
we subpoenaed his records, and we wanted his income tax earnings and what he gave her every month, in which she ended up dropping the case altogether.
you know what? That takes me into something else because a lot of women go into welfare or what they call public assistance by the state. And when they do that, child support is put on that person, the other person, that spouse, or not spouse, but the other child's, the father or whoever, is usually put on that child once they go on welfare. But you don't have to do that. Like you don't like just because the mother goes on welfare does not mean that the father has to pay child support.
Most of these women are brainwashed to go that route. If child support wasn't intended for that, I mean,
No, I'm saying
not child
I ain't
support. I'm trying to say
right.
that most women who get welfare, right? It wasn't intended for the enforcement of child support to later on. So when you go get on welfare, that don't mean you have to put your baby daddy on child support. That's an option. That is something that you don't have to do, and they can't force you to do it.
But see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of women don't know that. They think that they have to because the welfare agency or child support act like they're going to try to force you into that or they try to coerce the mother into that. So we just saying out here, we putting it out here in the public that the mothers or whoever does not have to put the father on child support just because they took food stamps. Just because they got an EBT card don't mean they got to do that to the father.
So here we go, right, Chief?
Yeah.
Benefits that either parent receive from remarriage or sharing living expenses with another person. This is what we crushed the other baby mama with. Sharing sharing living expenses with another person. She was failing to additional put that in as an income, and that we was able to subpoena those records, and they dropped the case.
Oh wow.
So if your baby mama is living with a guy, and you
Yeah.
find out he's on the mailbox, or you find out that he's living in that residence, you can subpoena
Yeah.
them, and you can get those records for that income, and they will have to reduce your child support due to the fact that she's receiving additional income that's coming in monthly, and that will reduce your child support. So you hear that,
Yo,
fellas? When these women are trying to hunt you down, and then she got a new man, and he's got a new Mercedes, and she's living a better life than you, and you staying at home with your mom because you can't afford to live on your own because they're waxing you with child support, and she go get her a new man. Subpoena that dude to court. Have him subpoena his taxes and his income and have your child support reduced.
Mm.
A lot of y'all didn't know that, huh? This is coming straight. This is from the horse's mouth. This is not Keng El Bey. I'm showing you in the records. Then it says the amount of federal,
Got
state,
you.
and local taxes actually paid or is estimated to be paid by a parent or both parents. See, taxes, everything that I'm talking about, man. I am the child support guru.
Hey, yo, hey, I ain't gonna lie though. Y'all gotta understand something. Like sidebar, like King El Bey, I know the brother, and he has been through it himself. Like the fact that he's had child support, and that he's had custody cases that he fought for his children. So I mean, like he really has been in the court. He has been litigating in court. He really does have an understanding of what goes on in the courtroom when it comes to custody and child support. He's had his child support lowered several times. So this is real stuff. This is the
I
real
didn't have
deal.
my
So
child support dismissed. I can show you that in black and white. I didn't won my custody case. I didn't did everything that a brother can do based upon understanding the system that we're in. You have to understand the system, not what you think, not what you believe you know, based upon the construction of the system, the language, the contracts that you put yourself under,
no doubt, no
right?
doubt.
So, check this. Significant in kind contributions from a parent included, not limited to, direct payment for lessons, sports equipment, schooling, and clothing.
I got you.
Extraordinary work related expenses incurred by other parent.
Got you.
Standard of
Right.
living in circumstances of each parent and the standard of living the child will have enjoyed, have the marriage continue, or have parents been married. So this is what they do. This is at one point. I was making 70,000. My baby mama was making 40. They took and put our income together, and they said that this child needed to have a income of 110,000, and that's what they base my child support on. This right here. So I had to pay $1,000 a month. Didn't know no better for one child. Let's continue. I had to pay 2,000 a month for two children until I had to figure out this stuff myself. The educational opportunities that would have been available to the child had the circumstances requiring a child support order not arisen. I want you to listen to this.
All right.
The educational opportunities that would have been available to the child had the circumstances requiring a child support order had not arisen. So let's say if your child could have qualified for some kind of special grant to go to a school, and now child support is affecting that, and she has to go to a school. She has to have a certain amount of income to go to a particular school to receive a public grant. Guess what you can do? You can go back to court and get your child support lowered, so then they can apply for the grant needed for that child to get the proper education at a school, right? To receive that grant. Do you understand me, family?
Mm.
Some people,
Mm.
I had a homeboy, his daughter, I had worked on the case. They were trying to get their two children into a special school of a high caliber school and they only can get it through grants. Guess what has to happen? I had to tell the mother she had to stop working.
Word. It's
We
word.
got them both in the school because now their income allowed them to what? Receive the grant. So that their children can go to school. Do you hear me?
Word. Shit. Real stuff, man. Real spit.
I am the
Okay.
child support
Yeah.
guru.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, so okay, so now I got on the screen. I had on there, man. I wanted to get into like the family court versus juvenile, man. Like what?
So let's
Like they got?
let me stop
Yeah, go
saying.
ahead, bust it.
Okay, so there's in Hamilton County they have juvenile, then they have domestic court. So if you want to get into a domestic court relationship, then you got to meet the qualifications. If you want to go through child support, so this is where contracts come in. Parents have the right to contract and make particular determinations without the court and go to the domestic relations court and file their paperwork within that court and have the court make a decision based upon the best interests of the child relating to the contracts. They don't even have to go to juvenile court that deals in child support. Parents have the right to do this all on their own, write a contract, go to the domestic relations court, and then file it with the court and get a court order from that court. You're listening to the
Mhm.
child support guru, King El Bey himself.
So you said okay for everybody, family court is in domestic court in
Yeah,
where we at, right?
where we at?
All
So you
right.
share the screen, or do you? How you want to do this?
You saying what now?
You want me to share the screen to show them the difference?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you can. Yeah,
Let's break this
let's
all down.
let's get it. Let's get it.
People like visuals, man. This is the boy King El
Nah,
Bey.
we gotta show them. This is what we do.
This is what we do,
We
man.
showing them. We don't- you know.
So this is
Yeah. I mean, you gotta use visuals. Okay, I'm pulling.
this is Hamilton County, right? Juvenile court, right? This is the court, right?
All right.
You can go here. They got forms, so you can go here and get the forms, right? You can file for custody. You can do all of that, but then you can go to domestic relations court, right? And they have complaints for divorce, legal separation. They have all of this, so you can file all of that in this married, child born, post divorce. You can do parental parenting coordinator forms. You can do all of that, guardian ad litem. All of that stuff you can do here. Also, some of this stuff they have the same forms, but they have also miscellaneous stuff. You can look at the local rules, right? Here's the local rules of the course, pleadings and motions. This is stuff, child support withholding orders. You could do all of this stuff under this court as this is not related to the jurisdiction of this court. This is two different courts. This is
Right. Check.
this is this
Right.
is child,
Juvenile is a different court than
yeah,
domestic court.
domestic
Like
relations.
so, juvenile court is not even in domestic court.
No, they're in the same building, but they just two
Yeah,
divisions.
same building. Right. Y'all gotta understand that too. Like when we talk, you talk about jurisdiction, it has nothing to do with like the physical space that we're in. It's really venues and whatnot. So it's
All
not.
all this stuff is done through contracts.
Facts.
All this stuff is done through contracts. So when you look at an institution, how an institution is established, You got to look at the internal policies and the contracts associated with everything that's going on. So when you talk about the child support game, ain't nobody better than your homeboy. I'm talking about everything that you need to do. We can break this down.
All right. So now, so my next thing is the key points. So we're looking at the key points. You're in the. We've given some of these, right? But what are some of the key points? To fight a child support case. What puts you in a position to fight a child support case, bro? So
The
it might
first,
be you go over some of what you already went over, but I'm just saying.
the first thing is that you got to understand what's going on, the venue. You got to understand your rights. So the first thing you need to understand, if you don't know your rights, you don't got no rights. So the judge can't force you to give your DNA, and they can't force you to sign up paternity. So this woman can say if you didn't rape this woman, she didn't say that you raped her, and that this was rape, and that she got pregnant due to a rape, and she filed a criminal procedure. The court cannot force you to give up your DNA. So that's the first way to first understand that how not to deal with child support. So if you sign the birth certificate, you got 60 days to rescind. That's
Oh
another.
yeah, I don't know about that one.
Then, if you sign the birth certificate, let's understand this. The third step is that you can challenge the acknowledgement of the signature and of the validity that the child support enforcement worker has any knowledge that you signed the birth certificate. It just goes through a system. She did not witness you sign it, so that can operate as a it don't meet constitutional muster, and that could be a violation of your constitutional rights, and that could be considered fraud upon the court. So that's three elements that you can use. And then all of that, man, you have to understand the rest of the stuff is just having you have to be astute. So this is why you gotta go get the book. Let me share the screen. Let's go get this book, man.
Yeah, share some of the book
Let's go through this book, man. Let's go through
so
this
they can
book.
see what.
They can
Yeah,
see
so they can
what
see
they
what was
get.
going on.
So how to stop child support, the must child support manual, right? And I'm gonna coming out soon with a second book, but I want you to understand what's going on. You know, we're going here, right? This is the information. Uh,
Oh, hold on. Let me put you on. I got you. Okay,
you
there we
there?
go.
It's on
Boom.
Amazon. It's on Amazon. So we go here. Must child support manual. How to stop child support. Research compiled and composed by your boy. And let's dedications. Now we can go into some of the stuff we talk about. Some I got case law in here. I got different things in here. I got some stuff for y'all, right? I ain't just give y'all. I got some case law in this thing. I got affidavit of paternity. We got all of this stuff in here. Supplier rights secure, right? So I
That's
got
right.
some stuff in here, right? In this book.
Right.
So we in the book it first talk about Social Security Title 4D. Child support is stimulated from the code in which states have adopted and created state statute. Let's look at this code. 42 U.S. Code Part D, child support and establishment of paternity. The states adopt such law that the child support agency enforce, and it goes it got U.S. code, right? Title of 42, chapter 7, subchapter 4D, section 651, authorization and appropriation. For the purpose of enforcing the child support Child support obligations owed by a non-custodial parent to their children and the spouse or former spouse with whom such children are living, allocated a non-custodial parent, established paternity, obtain child support and spousal support, and assuring that assistance is obtained. Support will be available under this part to all children whether or not eligible for assistance under a state program funded under Part A, from whom such assistance is requested, there is hereby authorized to be appropriated for each fiscal year a sum sufficient to carry out the purpose of this part. And I just it got all the stuff in there. And then I said, I have highlighted the words to show the term that is being used in the code to establish child support. The word father is not included in the code. The states and child support agencies interchange the word natural father or father with non custodial parent and obligor to trick you into believing that you are adjudicating you under some law that fathers has to pay child support, but it's not true. Signing the birth certificate was all a trick to get you to contract with them and have you stuck with a child support debt.
Mm, mm.
The book got some sauce.
Yeah, the book got some sauce in it. Y'all go please check out the book, man. Y'all
So
can.
I'm just
I'm
going
gonna have it. I'm gonna have it in the link. I'm gonna have it in the comment or the description, or have it in the link too, man.
and then
Now,
okay.
go ahead.
So it go on to say that thanks to social media, a lot of you already know not to sign the birth certificate affidavit. The birth certificate affidavit is the gateway to child support. The child's the birth certificate affidavit creates the state birth certificate. When you sign the birth certificate affidavit, you perform what they call a confessed judgment. A
Uh,
confession of judgment is a written agreement in a lawsuit where the defendant admits liability to plaintiff and agrees to pay amount and further agrees this agreement can be filed as judgment in a court. Furthermore, this establishes the parent and child relationship and you waive your right to create a certificate in another state. See these codes. This is Ohio statute. You must find your prospective state statute. The birth certificate is not the problem. It is the birth certificate affidavit and the acknowledgement of paternity affidavit. Huh?
do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this, bruh?
So
Like I said, y'all smash the like button. Smash the like button
I
and
break
please
some stuff
subscribe.
down in this
Hit that
book.
notification.
I break some stuff challenging the DNA testing. I use the Constitution. Amendment 1 Congress have made no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievance. But if you see, I got prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So I already got an underlined family. I break down this. This is the Ohio Constitution. Inalienable right. All men by nature are free and independent and have certain inalienable rights, among which are those to enjoy and defend life, liberty, acquiring and possession and protecting property, and seeking and obtaining happiness and safety. That's under our state jurisdiction, family.
Check. Check it out.
I
And
break
y'all, if y'all got any comments, man, can y'all make some comments? If y'all got any questions or thoughts, you know,
this
please
book.
feel free to comment on it.
This book got some sauce in it. I ain't gonna go through all the book. Get the book, man. Get the book. It's $20. I know you
Yes,
know
sir.
somebody who needs child support. Man, you can hit King El Bey up. I got remedy after remedy after remedy I don't care what situation you in. I don't care if you're an NBA star. I can show you how to set your stuff up. I can show you how to get right to the game. And let's get to moving and let's get to grooving because what you sign is what you attach yourself to. So let's get it.
So that leads me into my last, probably one of my last questions, and that is when you talk about contracting, right? So how do we prevent child support? So, like, for the brothers and sisters out there who are expecting or, are single males that are in the game, how do you prevent child support?
Okay, we're going to talk about two situations. And this is it, married and unmarried. If you married and you got some bread, do a prenup contract. Let her look over it and sign it. You spell out the terms and conditions that she waive child support. And if she's
If
uh
you're unmarried,
if you unmarried, don't sign the birth certificate and don't give your DNA. They can't force you to do nothing. So that's the
yeah, I
simple.
understand that. But no. Okay, for y'all, when I'm talking about preventing child support, we're talking about being able to contract. And when we mean that is if you're in a relationship and you either having a child coming, y'all need to sit down while you're in a rational state of mind. And y'all need to sit down and create a contract. Y'all need to create a parenting agreement. So that's what I was getting into. It's like creating a parenting agreement that stipulates certain things inside that contract that you guys had prior to even, it could be even prior to the child being actually born. Like when the child is actually in so many months being pregnancy, y'all might want to sit down with that, or at least sit down and talk about this, like after the child's been born. Like, what kind of parenting agreement do you guys want to set up?
Well, this is the thing. A lot of everybody. This is why you need to come and see your boy Keng El Bey. Because if you don't know how to write contracts, it will be considered non-binding, and they will throw it out. So there's certain things, elements that need to be in the contract in order to make a contract binding. Most of you guys don't understand that. This is why you could call me and Chief, and we can break it down for you. We can set you up with all the paperwork you need. We can help you write the contract, y'all agreements. We can specify, right, all the contractual stuff, and then we can show you what to do to have it enforced. And then you can have it under a particular title or style in which it will then that will have to be the instrument used to enforce child support.
I can dig it. Check. I can dig it.
So the average person can't write the contract. There are certain elements that's very detailed that need to be in there. And if you don't know, if you're not very cognizant and understand what needs to be in there, and then you don't do particular things, it won't be enforced. This is why you need the
Why
consultation.
wouldn't it be enforced? Like, let me ask you this: why wouldn't a contract be enforced if y'all make a contract?
It can be
Because I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like, you're there are elements in the contract that make the contract binding, and that there's things that we have done or we do that as far as contracting is concerned, you know, we have a better grasp on that. But
well.
let's just say, I mean, you know, tidbits that just help people that really are not in the position. They really just need to, because at the end of the day, we put these videos out to assist and help y'all. We're not necessarily giving up the sauce, but I mean, like, I just feel like there are more elaborate contracts that you can create, that we can create, if you want to get like elaborate. But like, if you guys are in a bind and you got, just to be smart, you we need the contract. My question, brother King El Bey, is what is when they write a contract, why wouldn't it be binding?
Certain language got to be in there. Certain liabilities have to be acknowledged. Certain things have to be identified. So one of the probabilities that into a contract is unfair advantage. One person having a one advantage over the other that could be cause the contract to be thrown out. That's one thing that can be looked at if the court determined that there were 9 times out of 10 the court will look at that and throw it out for that reason. And then we're looking at the conscionability of the contract, how well it was written, what was expressed. Did you identify certain things? Did the person have particular knowledge of what you pertained in that? And if you don't, if they you're not really very clear, you don't have certain things in there, certain things in the terms and conditions, and it's unforeseen, then that can prohibit the binding of the contract. So it's just it's just very technical. It's very you have to be very oriented in writing contracts so that it can be when the court get it, they understand what they looking at.
All right, all right. So all right, so I got some other shit. I'm about to get into this, man. I'm weird, feeling so. You got one thing you got to understand is that there is a bias in how parents are looked at. The mother is biased to the father in most states. So the mother gets a title called custodialship. The father, if you're not married, gets the title of non-custodial. So y'all have to understand the status in which you come in. And we talk about status a lot on this show. And status can be, we talk about employment is a status. Uh, your status as a married person, that's a status. But also being non-married. And when they put you in custodialship or non-custodial, those are statuses. So y'all must be aware of that. So
Let me
I want to talk. Go
let me
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
visual. Let me share the screen. So
Go ahead.
they get it. I like to hit them with the visuals. So let's go. Tell me when you can see this.
It's on.
Can they see it?
I believe so.
Okay, so I want you to look at this. Custody rights of unwed mother.
Yeah, that's that.
And then what court it says title domestic relations, right? This don't say juvenile.
Yep, domestic relations.
It says
Nope.
domestic relations. So you have
Exactly.
you
You
go
know
to
what court you in? Know what court y'all in?
what court you in. So this domestic relations. A unmarried female who gives birth to a child is the sole residential parent and legal custodian of a child until a court of competent jurisdiction issues an order designating another person as residential parent and legal custodian.
Right.
A
Y'all
court,
see how the state treats y'all? Y'all
oh,
see how the street? Y'all see how the state treats y'all as non-married people? Just
so
remember
look,
that.
a court designating the residential parent and legal custodian of the child described in this section shall treat the mother and father as standing upon an equality when making these designations. So when you file a petition for custody, they must look at you at equal standing. So when it came down to me, I said, okay, y'all want to put me on child support? Let me file custody against both of the mothers. Let's roll. Now you want me to do an investigation on your home? You want me to send CPS to do an investigation? I have a right. So now I'm gonna get CPS involved. I'm finna get a lot of things involved. And now we're gonna inspect your home. Now we're gonna look at the quality of care that you can provide. Now we're gonna look at your home stability. We're gonna look at how many children in the home, how many rooms are in the home, and we're gonna start inspecting. Come on now. This is what I do. I make your life hell messing with me. You don't want to do this, please.
Boy, you crazy. Boy, you crazy, man.
You see
But
what
that's
I'm
fact.
saying? So we gonna go through this. Hope you ain't been going. Hope my child ain't been going. I'm a female, so I'm just saying. We talking about if the child is being mentally abused, physically abused. We talking about you cussing out children. We looking at everything. We gonna start with videotaping. I'm gonna start asking for visitations, temporary visitations, until we can get this matter settled. I'm gonna ask, could I have temporary visitation orders until the court make a final determination, so I can start inspecting my child.
Check. Check. Y'all hear that? Check. These are
So
things y'all need to say.
So
Okay.
this is what I do. You understand? So if a woman gonna go there with you, you go there with her. You understand? If you got your affairs in order, go ahead and put your affairs in order. And while you gonna ask for a court to give you temporary visitations until the court make a decision. And now you're gonna send the boatload to her house. CPS, you're gonna do it. If you got money for a private detective, you can hire a private detective. You can do all of that stuff. Come on, man. This is what we do over here. We finna
Facts.
we finna start providing services to help fathers because they've been at a disadvantage. So I'm trying to get people in. I'm trying to get my private detective. Like I said, we're gonna start doing some things to help fathers and get incidents. If mama's got boyfriends living at home and all of that, he's coming in. He's driving cars. She's doing all of this stuff. We're gonna follow his ass to work. Come on now,
Right.
let's go.
Now, and like I said, this ain't just about women against men. I mean, like I'm just saying, like it's parents. Like when you got a parent, one of the parents that's got custody, and they're abusing that right. These are the remedies you have for that. So it's not just women. Even though y'all see how the state give custodialship to the woman, you see what I'm saying? Automatic.
Automatic.
So
And,
you
and,
know,
and, and this is the thing what I'm trying to get brothers and sisters to understand. If you gonna lay down and have a child with a dude, there was no compromising in that. Y'all enjoy the moment, enjoy being a parent together. Make motherhood and fatherhood a wonderful experience so the child can reap the benefits of the fruits of y'all labor when y'all brought this child into the world. Do not allow your emotions to override your intellect. This is the problem
right.
when
That's
see.
part of the problem. That is part of the problem. But
So
the
a
fact,
lot of it goes both sides. Fathers be being vindictive, mothers be
right?
being vindictive. Now this is not what the about. This is the child receive they would become collateral damage of y'all a broken abusive relationship. The child feel all that hurt and pain, and that's not fair to the child. So if you're going to do this, let's put it in writing. Let's be on neutral terms. Let's work together as parents, as y'all was when y'all was working together in the bedroom. Work together outside of that and get it together, family, and get
that's
it.
facts. You know what I'm
So
saying? And that's facts.
you
Go
see
ahead.
what I'm saying? Let's be fair with one another so that the child can now, y'all both can grow and blossom. This is all about the stuff that I talk about the estate planning process. Let's get to the getting down to the getting down. I got remedy after remedy after remedy after remedy if that's what you want.
Word up. Yo, word up. So I mean, I don't know what else, brother. I mean, like I don't want to get too deep. We got other videos. We talked about the rights of the man.
I'm gonna
Like I
post
said,
this on my page, like I said. child support, ain't nobody, you ain't gonna find nobody on the internet that's more sophisticated, that understand this stuff better than I do, who's an actual practitioner, who knows how to go into court and win. I got proven facts that I know how to win.
Facts. Yeah, he been there. Like I mean, really, really like been in the courtroom, you know. And I ain't gonna lie, man, this shit get deeper than this for real. I mean, like, but this is, you know, a lot to deal with right here. Like this right here is a lot of information to go into understanding these basic stuff because it does get deeper. I mean, we do talk about jurisdictions and you know your ability to put yourself into another jurisdiction, but that is something on another level. That's another video. You know, we want to we want to really break these down
Yeah,
into
we got so much. Listen,
stages.
we coming together, New Kemet and Muss, under this organizational banner. This is my brother. We got something.
Yo, we form together like Voltron. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
We form together like Voltron.
We got something for y'all, really. Like a lot of these cats can talk that stuff, but they ain't battle tested, and they don't know how to get you remedy because they don't understand the infrastructure. They don't know how to critically think about this. I've been battle tested. Chief been battle tested. We had indigenous, show them indigenous services, Chief. How we've been doing the share the screen with that.
Yeah, I put up there. And for all of y'all, you know, check out Indigenous Services. You know what I'm saying? Indigenous Services dot webs.com. It's still up. We still do the services. You know, I often show this as I show y'all this. We gotta, you know, let me share the page real quick. Bust it. But nah, we do this. Like we still do it. If y'all do need assistance, um, outside of the other way, we do have indigenous services, and let me put share now. So indigenous services is, you know, when we talk about it, you know, we get deep into indigenous services. This right here is, let me go to the page.
Who?
Uh, services provided.
Who?
Services provided, y'all.
You want? Oh,
Go
you
to
want?
indigenousservices.west.com. Okay, we do document. You know, this is old, but we basically the document assistance. You know, we'll help you put your papers together. You know what I'm saying? So that's the number right there. That's my contact. You got King El Bey. This is his contacts. That email is outdated. Probably. I mean, he probably got another email, but y'all check it out. Uh, like I said, we like when you come on Indigenous Services, go to links, right? Let me see, and then when y'all go to links, there's the plethora of information. You can go to the Public Library of Law. All right, the forms and instructions. Y'all can go. We got the U.S. Code, federal. You know, because I mean, like when y'all in the courtroom, y'all got rules. Let me ask you this, bro. Since we on here before we get off, the rules of evidence don't they apply? Do they apply in court in that courtroom?
Of course.
So you know, dealing with the rules of evidence, what uh, you know, when you file this per paperwork, because like I said, it gets deeper than that. Now, like the brother, now King say you know one thing about contracting, but if y'all got like affidavits and contracts that y'all created with y'all's spouse or the mother, if y'all got contracts with the mother, these are rules of evidence. These are your rules of evidence. Okay,
They
so I
have
mean,
to understand how to meet the evidentiary standard, and it relates to evidence that can be presented to. So a lot of people just don't understand these rules and they don't know how to present evidence most of the time. But like you
right,
said, if got a contract or they married, like they got a marriage affidavit or something, that could be presented as evidence and it will stand in the court of law.
Exactly. So I mean, like that's one of the things that y'all can do when y'all come to us because, like we said, we do understand the rules, the litigation, and whatnot. And so, like even if you got like you guys might have made a contract with the baby mother. Okay, there might have been. I think it's wise for you to create a contract, a parenting contract. Um, if you do have a parent, like let's say you have a child or you're pregnant, your baby mother's pregnant, or she just recently had one, it would be very wise to come and contact us so we can help put together your contract. You know, so you guys can avoid like the key really is like y'all is we need to avoid child
The
support.
court. We need to avoid the court altogether. The court should be there as a reference point to remind us of what we need to do. It should like you can file it in the court and just have the court enforce the contract, but the court shouldn't be the place where we seek remedy. The remedy should already be thoughtfully thought out and planned through contract. We shouldn't be. We have to learn to start being more responsible in our actions by understanding if we're gonna start doing stuff, we need to look at contracts. That's why my mojo is contract, contract, contract. This is your boy that's always breaking it down so that you can understand what we doing and how we enforcing this. And I can show you everything you need to do and break it all the way down. Like I said, we finna start doing master classes on child support. We're finna start breaking all of this. We got guys who about to have babies, guys who got babies, guys who got babies that's grown. And we got remedies for everything that you need. So I got remedy after remedy after remedy after remedy. I do this for certain, for sure. So I won't forsake you, brothers who need help. No matter what your circumstances is, we can get you something if there is reasonable efforts that can be made. So let's get this going, family. For
That's
my
what they do, bro.
That's for my sister too. I ain't, there's a lot of dudes out there that's deadbeats. We can help you too. I ain't gonna discriminate. I head crack everybody. Bust head Fred. That's I'm in the building.
Well, you crazy, man. So I mean, that's really what we got wrapped up, man. So if like I said, check it out. We're gonna have our info in the description, and y'all check it out. So with that being said, man, that's really all I got for you, man. Hope y'all got something out of this. Like I said, subscribe, like the video, and get at us, man. All right. So
So love.
until next time, man, we gonna holler at you. Peace. Two time
Peace.
manner.
Peace.